prepared for it. But for somebody who is going into hospital, expecting to receive their bundle of joy, be it their son or daughter, or in your case, their grandchild, it appears that nothing prepares you for that.
You're absolutely right. Nobody ever imagines that they're the ones who are going to have a special needs child or a special needs grandchild. Everybody imagines at the end of time when, and we say, I'm an obstetrician gynecologist, and we jokingly say the longest we can ever wait is 9 months.
Right.
At 9 months, a decision has to be made.
Right.
But everybody expects their bundle of joy, as you say, will be okay, perfectly normal, will hit the milestones. And for many parents, you won't know immediately. Because it's not as if when the baby is born, you'll be able to tell that there's something. But somewhere along the way, you may notice something a little different. When it's their first child, they may not notice it as easily because they don't know any difference.
There's nothing to compare it to.
There's nothing to compare. But then at some point, you may pick up the milestones aren't quite happening. Maybe they're not picking up words in the same way. Maybe they're not making eye contact. Maybe they're a little slower in doing certain things. Nothing prepares you to be able to have a child with special needs. So it's almost like learning on the job. Just like a lot of parenting is learning on the job. You get the child and you learn to parent. Most other things, we first train, you go to school, and then you get the certificate. Here, the certificate is handed to you in the form of a live baby. Then you need to figure out what to do with the baby. And so nothing ever prepares you. And so it's a difficult journey because you learn it on the fly.
Wow. And another thing about it is like you said, nobody expects, nobody prepares for that. It also appears that in our society, we have learned to only accept a certain kind of bundle of joy. If this bundle of joy ticks X, Y, Z box, then we know, okay, this is indeed a bundle of joy. But if there's something different, then there's less of that joy. Why do you think this is so?
I think this is true of humans in many different spaces. That we have an element where we try to crowd together and we want similarity. This is where things like peer pressure comes in. We all want to fit in. We want to be a certain way. And if someone or something is different from what we're used to, then we don't accept them as easily. And sadly, in many of these spaces, stigma comes about. And so when one encounters or experiences a child who has autism, the chances are most people think, this child is not well behaved, or the parents did something inappropriate, or the parents are not teaching them well. Why is this child making a lot of noise? Why are they covering their ears? Why are they not looking at me in the eye? Why will they not respond to me and greet me? How can a child who's 5 or 6 not be able to shake hands and say hello? And so there's a lot of stigma that's associated with it without people understanding that they are children and they are people who process the world differently. The way we perceive information and process it is not the same for them. And that overwhelm of information, that overwhelm of light and noise, and people staring at them, and senses.
An assault to the senses.
It's just too much. It's pain, it's discomfort. And so they don't know how to relate to it. One of the things that they struggle with is just the normal social cues. The way we watch people's body language and you think, okay, that's a person I don't want to perhaps interact with. They don't pick up those cues as easily. And so they struggle with things like that, but people stigmatize them and just think, well, there's something wrong with them and put them aside. And even in school, they will often be the child who's punished or who's not treated well. And it's not because they're not necessarily bright or they don't understand. Just because they may not verbalize it in the same way or relate in the same social way or be a little socially awkward, then they tend to be marginalized.